Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. The head of the giant object was enormous, and there were true treasure palaces on top of it. Almost 90% of the great beings in Universe Ocean were around the head. It's enormous. This must be the mouth of that human-shaped object. Boat of Mausoleum landed. Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City leader, and the other great beings from the Hong Alliance were all looking into the distance, amazed. There was a vast abyss in front of them, and judging by the outer shape of the giant object, it had its mouth closed, yet the abyss was only a crack between its lips. That abyss was 1.9 million light-years long, and it was 120,000 light-years at its widest. Even Luo Feng's domain true treasures could only inspect a small part of it. 10 Milky Way galaxies could have filled this crack. Streaks of light appeared above the abyss and shot out. Quick, quick! If there are valuables in this giant object, those who find them first can get them. Quick! All the powers were nervous. Although they were frightened and intimidated by the giant object, they were still keen to find out more about it, which was why they immediately sent Universe Masters with multiple bodies to check. Let's go, Luo Feng. Chaos. The great beings in the Hong Alliance were nervous as well. The valuables were on a first-come first-serve base, and everyone knew it. They were nervous upon seeing all the other powers sending great beings. Primal Chaos City leader looked around and said, "We know nothing about this giant object. We don't know how dangerous it is inside. Even Universe Supreme Masters can't guarantee they can survive it. We'll send Universe Masters with multiple bodies in first. Then, even if they die, they will only lose a body and some true treasures. The main entryways of that giant head are the ears, the nostrils, and the crack between the lips. We might enter separately through different portals." Nobody knew which entryway led to the valuables, which was why they would need to try all of them. Okay. I'll go. I'll go, too. Great beings were very efficient, and they transmitted their voices using their godly power. Immediately, 8 Universe Masters decided to send bodies in, including Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City leader said, "Everyone who's going in, be careful. Also, when you enter, please record your route. Then other great beings from the Hong Alliance can learn from it. Now, everyone, off you go. Let's go. Go." The gate of Boat of Mausoleum opened. Streaks of light flew out swiftly, including a black, oval-shaped palace. Other great beings from the Hong Alliance were all looking at the great beings of their team, including Primal Chaos City leader. They all wished that they could get the huge chance contained in that giant object. Inside the black, oval-shaped palace, Luo Feng stood looking at the outside. He was wearing black armor and carrying a blade. A blurry black light permeated the oval-shaped palace, centered on him. It covered an area of several square light-years. This was Luo Feng's Mosha body. "Inspection," he muttered. Luo Feng was full of expectation. Actually, he only carried his golden horned beast body and the Earthling original body while journeying in Universe Ocean. However, for the present purpose of inspection, he had immediately sent his Mosha body, which had been in the original universe, back to remote ocean and killed it. The true treasures carried by his Mosha body had been kept by endless remote ocean. Then Luo Feng immediately had spared some godly power from his golden horned beast body, and condensed a new Mosha body. Mosha body had a life gene level of 5,000 times, and it was 10,000 kilometers tall. Its godly power wasn't even 1/1000th that of his golden horned beast body, so it was okay for the golden horned beast to spare that much. As for the valuables that Mosha body was carrying now, they had been obtained over the course of the past 8 million years. Luo Feng had kept some true treasures, he had obtained from Jiafanzi, after donating most of them to his race. He had also journeyed throughout Universe Ocean in boat of Mausoleum, so he had obtained quite a few true treasures, meaning it had been easy for him to get a set of true treasures. The armor and the blade Moshe body was carrying were both pinnacle true treasures, but they were only ordinary pinnacle true treasures. As for pinnacle palace type and domain type true treasures, they were much more precious. It's done. Let's see what's inside that giant object. Moshe Luofeng drove the black, oval-shaped palace, performing short-distance teleportation time and time again. Each time, he only teleported within the domain range. He also documented his route while he was moving forward. In Universe Ocean, 3 beings walked out of the wormhole shoulder to shoulder. Based on 9 remoteness, the powers from Universe Ocean can't wait anymore, so they sent some great beings in. Regardless, they were careful enough to only send those with bodies. At least most of them did that. They'll soon realize how terrifying that 4th land of extremists is. Not our business. We'll just move at normal speed. As for the death toll, it's their luck. Tell 9 remoteness and the others. Other than those like 9 remoteness who are not afraid of death, others can't go in. Although we know about this 4th land of extremists, we can't spill the secret. The 3 ancestral gods went, because they received an order from the original mind. They knew about the secret, yet they didn't dare to leak it to their great beings. As ancestral gods, they benefited greatly, yet there were still many rules that they needed to follow. The giant object kept slowing down under the chaos air. Eventually, it completely stopped. The human-shaped object has fully stopped. That armor. Is it decorative? Or is it a valuable like the armors we're wearing? Let's see whether we can make it recognize us as owners. The great beings who remained outside had many thoughts. They believed that powerful valuables would recognize masters, so they all endeavored to give it a go. However, before the great beings landed, there were already those who had tried. They had all failed. That giant armor was like a decoration. It was not subject to master recognition, and no matter how it was attacked, it wasn't damaged even in the slightest. Luofeng entered via the crack between the lips. He was driving a true treasure palace and teleporting at a short distance. He was very fast, and soon enough, he had already traveled 10 million light-years forward. That giant object had already stopped. An endless abyss. Inside the palace, Moshe Luofeng looked down, and he couldn't see the bottom. He looked to his side, but he couldn't see the end, either. It appeared endless. He could only see the exit dimming at the front, and using his domain-type true treasure, he could tell that there wasn't any route at the front. He had to go down. Go down. The black, oval-shaped palace immediately dove down, and it started to teleport at a high frequency again. Huh! There's a huge area that my domain true treasure can't detect, Moshe Luofeng said. He overjoyed. Ever since he started detecting, he hadn't been able to find anything out of the ordinary. In dangerous places in Universe Boat and Tilted Peak Sector, domain true treasures couldn't detect them. He had been in this giant object for a long time, and this was the first time his domain true treasure wasn't able to detect something. I'll go and see. He drove the black oval palace and got closer. After half an hour, Moshe Luofeng looked to the front in the palace. That is. An endless whirlpool appeared in his sight. The whirlpool twisted the space, spreading outward. A natural wormhole. Moshe Luofeng could immediately tell that it was a natural wormhole. That wormhole is too large and too powerful, he said. Only universe masters and those stronger could get through such twisted energies. I haven't seen a natural wormhole this big in Universe Ocean, or in the original universe. Moshe Luofeng was thrilled. Apparently, the natural wormhole led to another area. Go. Go deeper. Moshe Luofeng drove the true treasure palace, dodged the natural wormhole, and kept diving. All great beings who inspected dangerous places knew that there were two ways to move forward in dangerous areas: teleportation and flying. Teleportation could take them to areas that could be inspected, and great beings only did that when they could make sure the area was safe. Flying was far less risky. At least great beings wouldn't fall into dangerous places without a fight. As for natural wormholes, nobody knew what was on the other side. Wormholes in Universe Ocean and the original universe were okay. As for those in Universe Boat, Tilted Peak Sector, Flowing Level Mountain, and this giant object, nobody would enter. Move forward. The abyss seemed to have no end, but it appeared safe. Moshe Luofeng drove the true treasure palace and kept moving forward, teleporting. There's no end, no end. I've been here for 15 days. On the 15th day, Moshe Luofeng lost his patience a bit. After all, there were lots of dangerous areas in the other three lands of extremis, yet there seemed to be nothing but an endless abyss in this giant object with nothing in it, and teleportation was allowed everywhere. A freezing breeze suddenly blew by. Even though Luofeng's domain true treasure covered an area of several square light years, it couldn't detect the breeze. It was completely silent. It blew through the black, oval-shaped true treasure palace, which was suddenly like dust, crumbling and separating, spreading across the ground and disintegrating into nothing. As for Moshe Luofeng inside the oval palace true treasure, he only felt cold before his godly power was completely frozen. The blade, the armor, and Moshe Luofeng himself all turned into dust, spreading and disintegrating into nothing. In the endless abyss, there still seemed to be no danger. It was tranquil, and teleportation was still possible everywhere. But Moshe Luofeng and the true treasure palace he drove had all turned to nothing. It was as if they had never been here. Inside Boat of Mausoleum, Luofeng looked shocked. His body shook. Primal Chaos City leader realized something was wrong. What happened, Luofeng? He asked. The Moshe body I sent in died, said Luofeng. He was terrified. Even if there were some dangerous places in Universe Boat and Tilted Peak Sector that couldn't be inspected, they were vacuums, meaning they couldn't be inspected. Luofeng could at least sense that there were dangers. However, his domain could detect everywhere in that giant object, yet he had still been killed under that situation. And the pinnacle true treasure palace was also shattered without a trace. Even the energies in the origin of Wu Wing made some sort of sound when slashing pinnacle true treasure palaces into pieces. Died? How? Asked Primal Chaos City leader. It must be wind, said Luofeng. Must be. Primal Chaos City leader was dazed. I didn't see it at all, so I couldn't detect it. Luofeng shook his head. My domain type true treasure worked perfectly fine, and was able to inspect everywhere. The wind just came out of nowhere. My pinnacle true treasure palace, and my godly body were both shattered, and Moshe body died. He couldn't fight. Not even a little bit. Primal Chaos City leader was shocked. Even pinnacle true treasure palaces couldn't resist it. Then everyone who went would be doomed unless he had a supreme true treasure. 8 universe masters from the Hong Alliance entered to conduct a search. Luofeng had gone in through the crack between the lips. He had gone in first and had died first. The following day, another universe master died. On the 4th day, 2 other universe masters died. On the 5th day, another universe master died. In the 10 days following Moshe Luofeng's death, the other bodies of the 7 universe masters from the Hong Alliance all died. Nobody survived, which terrified all the universe masters from the Hong Alliance. Even the three lands of extremis weren't that incredible. In the palace of Boat of Mausoleum, the last Universe Master, who had gone in, had died, and the Universe Masters were discussing this heatedly. Milky Way Horde leader was met with a wind that couldn't be detected. Once that wind blew, the pinnacle True Treasure Palace he was in was annihilated. As for Shwehi Master, he was met with fire that came out of nowhere, which immediately burned the pinnacle True Treasure Palace. As for other Universe Masters, by wind, fire, or mist, 7 had died instantly without even putting up a fight. One had encountered water stretching out and freezing the time and space around him so that nobody could teleport or flee. The water had easily eroded the pinnacle True Treasure Palace, killing the Universe Master sitting inside. Everyone, said Primal Chaos City Leader. They all became quiet and looked at Primal Chaos City Leader. Based on the information I have, it's not just the great beings from the Hong Alliance who have died, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Even great beings from other powers who journeyed in and entered the endless abyss couldn't find the route, and they couldn't clearly see the environment around them. They were all trapped in the abyss and were killed by the fire, wind, or other forces that showed up out of nowhere in the abyss. Even Supreme True Treasure Palaces were destroyed. Not to mention Pinnacle True Treasure Palaces. Supreme True Treasure Palace. Everyone was stunned. I just received the news, said Primal Chaos City Leader. The skeleton race from the first universe era sent a great being in a Supreme True Treasure Palace. He was met with fire, which burned the palace instantly. He couldn't resist it in the slightest. Everyone was shocked. Luo Feng sighed. It had burned a Supreme True Treasure Palace. Some designs in Boat of Mausoleum could indeed kill some great beings hiding in Supreme True Treasure Palaces. However, they couldn't destroy a Supreme True Treasure Palace. The abyss in this gigantic object, on the other hand, had done just that. Even Supreme True Treasures can't resist it. What can we do about it? Literally nobody has survived. The death rate isn't that high even in lands of extremis. Primal Chaos City Leader suddenly yelled over their panic, everyone. Luo Feng looked to his teacher in surprise. All the other great beings in the palace did so as well. I just heard the news, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Several powers from the first universe era have entered the natural wormhole in the endless abyss. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. While he was inspecting the object, he had also found a natural wormhole, yet he hadn't dared to go in. Instead, he had kept moving forward. It seemed that those from the first universe era were in more of a hurry, as they had dared to enter the wormhole. Chances were, it hadn't ended well. Otherwise, they couldn't have spread the news. What's on the other side of the natural wormhole? Asked Shwehi Master. The other 7 Universe Masters had also found the natural wormhole. No matter how they entered the giant object, through the ears, the nostrils, or the mouth, they had all entered the endless abyss and continued right past the giant wormhole. Enter the natural wormhole, said Primal Chaos City Leader. It'll lead to a secret place full of chaos air with a miniature universe in it. A miniature universe. Miniature universe. Everyone was dazed, including Luo Feng. The natural wormhole led to a space where there was a miniature universe. We've confirmed that the natural wormhole leads to a mysterious space, and it's in the human-shaped object, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Besides, the great beings from the first universe era are also trying to get into that miniature universe. They have arranged their machine puppets, and some of them are even trying to get in themselves. However, when they touched the membrane of the miniature universe, they were annihilated immediately. The membrane is that powerful. How is it possible? Everyone in the palace of the Boat of Mausoleum was shocked. Luo Feng couldn't even imagine that. Normally, the membranes of a universe couldn't attack. Some universe supreme masters would try to use their miniature universes to kill enemies, but it was after the enemies had entered the miniature universe, and they used the power of the origin of the miniature universe to do it. It sounded ridiculous that the membrane itself could kill. Dead. 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 No matter how the powers in Universe Ocean tried, they all died without exception. This 100% death rate intimidated all the powers. Even a slight chance of survival would help, but there was none. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Just when giant objects in Universe Ocean were all panicking and feeling helpless, the news was spread that the three ancestral gods were summoning all the powers in Universe Ocean, and were going to pass on the message of the original mind. What? The three ancestral gods? I thought the ancestral gods from the original universe never left the original universe. A message from the original mind. Everyone was surprised. The ancestral gods, who had never set foot in Universe Ocean, arrived and were given the message of the original mind. Both attracted the collective attention of Universe Ocean. Plus, the powers suffered losses when they were inspecting the giant object, so they all gathered around. Boat of Mausoleum also went along. A message from the original mind. Luo Feng frowned. This is the first time that the three ancestral gods entered Universe Ocean. What do they want? Primal Chaos City leader looked solemn. They are here for a good reason. When he was trying to kill Great Thunder Star Master, he was able to perform a power that was exactly the opposite of godly power. That was when Luo Feng realized that there was a hidden secret in Universe Ocean that he didn't know of. This giant object is one of them, said Luo Feng. He also wanted to know what the ancestral gods had to say. Supreme True Treasures went along, and Boat of Mausoleum was among one of them. There were three beings in white capes standing in the space around 10 million light-years away from the giant head. They stood side by side, and their white capes glowed with colorful light. They were incomparably powerful, and their force permeating everywhere. Palaces floated around the three beings in white capes, followed by lots of great beings. Luo Feng and the others walked out of the gate of Boat of Mausoleum. They stood in the space and looked at the great beings in white capes in the distance. Luo Feng sighed. What a powerful force, he said. He felt like the space and time within hundreds of square light-years were controlled by the three ancestral gods, and they were much more powerful than any universe supreme master. Primal Chaos City leader transmitted his voice. Remember, they are the representatives of the original mind. Their power is bestowed by the original mind. Let's see what they are going to say. Luo Feng was staring, too. The humans didn't have any emotional attachment to the original mind, as teacher origin was suppressed by it. As time went by, more and more great beings gathered. The ancestral gods were the ones that gleamed the brightest. 3 universe eras, 2 holy lands, and all the powers have arrived, said the one at the center. We'll begin. We enter Universe Ocean because of the order from the original mind, and we're here for that giant object. He then pointed at the giant object. When you get in, you will find a natural wormhole, said ancient ancestral god. If you enter the natural wormhole, you'll be transported to another place. There's a miniature universe in the space, and it's called the world of Jinn. That is the only place in that giant object where you can survive. The 3 great ancestral gods, being the spokespeople of the willpower of the primal universe origin, were now surrounded by colorful lights that contained the power of various laws of gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, electricity, light, time, and space. And these lights were consistently exuding an endless, oppressive force. Clearly, this was not something that these 3 ancestral gods could achieve on their own. This was obviously achieved with the support provided by the willpower of the primal universe origin. To a certain extent, It could also lend credibility to the words of the three great ancestral gods, proving that their claims were not baseless or random. That miniature universe we have all tried before. Mere contact with the walls of its membrane will bring one to annihilation. There is simply no way in. Right away, great beings began firing persistent questions. Doubleface Ancestral God, one of the three great ancestral gods, who was seated to the side, spoke up. If you intend to intrude and barge your way through, then there will certainly not be a way in. This world of Jinn is extraordinary. Under normal circumstances, even after thousands and millions of reincarnation eras, it remains unborn. However, when everything in the vast universe ocean has a universe law to adhere to, that time will be the time for its proper birth. No one bothered asking how they should enter. This information from Doubleface Ancestral God was enough to cause a stir among the various groups of top powers from Universe Ocean. Proper birth. What did he mean by proper birth? Under normal circumstances, even after thousands and millions of reincarnation eras, it would remain unborn. What exactly happened? Luo Feng was taken aback and transmitted a voice message to Primal Chaos City leader beside him. Teacher, after hearing what the three great ancestral gods had to say, the birth of this world of Jinn seems to have a special meaning to it. Yes. Primal Chaos City leader nodded solemnly. Everything has its own laws. The willpower of the primal universe origin may be very strong, but it is also very detached, so it cannot differentiate between good and bad. It can only adhere to the most fundamental rules. Even when dealing with a single universe master like Yuan Ao Master, or dealing with Great Thunderstar Master, it must draw on the support of other great beings. Obviously, it is not invincible, so even against Teacher Origin, the most the willpower of the Origin could do was keep him under suppression. There is no way it could annihilate Teacher Origin. Luo Feng nodded. It was true. Everything seemed to have a predestined set of laws to adhere to, and apparently, under normal circumstances, this massive object should not have been born. Yet now, it had undergone a proper birth. Obviously, this meant that this period had entered into a special phase that was different from the other reincarnation eras. The most handsome ancestral god, a being with fine, delicate features and a red-scaled tail, who looked nothing older than a youth, spoke. Internally, the world of Jinn is fraught with endless predicaments, yet it also contains endless opportunities. It is more special compared to the other three most dangerous lands. That massive object was of no use at all to Universe Ocean. Its true significance lay in the world of Jinn that resided within its body. If you want to enter the world of Jinn, you must wait for the right opportunity. The power of the universe membrane wall periodically switches from strong to weak. When it turns black, its power is at its strongest. When it turns white, its power is at its weakest. That is when most ordinary universe masters can easily penetrate it. Each cycle is approximately one era long. Everyone, we just need to wait. Wait for the membrane walls of that world of Jinn to turn white. Then we can enter. Hearing the words of this ancestral god, the various groups of top powers instantly grew restless and itchy for action. Periodic cycles. At that point, a handful of great beings wanted to take off and rush into the world of Jinn right away. But the moment they heard that a single cycle took as long as an era, they had to suppress their heightened emotions in order to continue listening. The world of Jinn is mysterious and unpredictable, the old ancestral god in the middle said. Within the world of Jinn, there are many living souls. Living souls? What? There are living souls there. A few thousand top-tier existences from all over Universe Ocean were shocked. Luo Feng was astounded, too. The three most dangerous lands of the universe, boat did not have any living souls. The living souls of the world of Jinn can only survive in the world of Jinn. They cannot come out, the old ancestral god continued. The moment they leave, they are bound to die. If you all enter, what you bring out when you exit will only be lifeless things. If you have brought a living soul out, it will be the same as killing it. Also, the world of Jinn contains a secret on transcending reincarnation. This gathering was already a powder keg, and now, thousands of beings were getting even more worked up. The secret on transcending reincarnation. Was this not what they all yearned for? Remember, said the old ancestral god. The secret to transcending reincarnation is the secret of the world of Jinn. Upon entering, you can explore and seek what you yearn for. But the moment you leave the world of Jinn, everything you learn from it must be kept to yourself. Absolutely nothing must be leaked to the outside world. Of course, even if you want to, there is no way to leak anything from the world of Jinn. Everyone seemed to be deep in thought. Luo Feng understood right away. It was just like how he received the inheritance of the pulse of Duan Dong Rive. He simply could not find anything more profound. It was like how Sitting Mountain Guest had bestowed upon him the 9-volume manual. Sitting Mountain Guest had needed to pay a hefty price before he could impart the manual to a single disciple. Obviously, there was an intangible kind of law that was influencing everything. The secret of transcending reincarnation. The secret of the world of Jinn. Luo Feng could feel the upsurge of emotions. He was aware that for many generations of reincarnations, the world of Jinn had not been born. This time, its birth was the closest he would likely get to the secret of Universe Ocean. World of Jinn, the fourth most dangerous land of Universe Ocean, the old ancestral god said. All of you must bear in mind, when the opportunity arrives, a crisis also lies in wait. The world of Jinn is much more dangerous than even Tilted Peak Sector, flowing countless mountains, and Universe Boat. Let's go. The three ancestral gods looked at one another, then immediately vanished into thin air and left. The thousands of great beings from Universe Ocean were also incomparably fast in returning to their palace true treasures. The large group of great beings from the Hong Alliance also returned to the boat of Mausoleum immediately. The three generations of ancestral gods played the roles of the spokespeople of the willpower of the primal universe origin, and they were mainly tasked with conveying messages and guidance. However, the various groups of top powers from Universe Ocean did not dare to commit their full belief in everything they received. They still explored cautiously. Suddenly, they discovered that the entire route from the point where they entered until they reached the natural wormhole was danger-free. And the moment they went through the wormhole, they would arrive at a secret space where they would see a miniature universe, the world of Jinn. Luo Feng, no great being has ever set foot in the world of Jinn to explore it, and yet, you are going in now, just like that, said Primal Chaos City Leader. It is too dangerous. If an accident happens, the loss you incur will be far too great. Luo Feng was carrying numerous true treasures on him. If he were to suffer a loss, it would, indeed, be massive. Teacher, I simply cannot bring myself to give up such an opportunity, Luo Feng said. Besides, I have other bodies. Even if I fail, I still have the chance to pick myself up from the fall. Teacher, please be at ease. Luo Feng divided his force into two different routes. He condensed part of his godly power to form his Mosha body, which would take one of the two routes. Mosha body would take Shawu Wings and Star Tower and return to the primal universe. After all, everything about the world of Jinn was unknown. If all his true treasures were brought in at the same time, the moment he failed, everything would be lost. By that time, it would be too late for regrets. His earthling original body and golden horned beast would take Blood Ghost Blade and the boat of Mausoleum, and set off on the other route, preparing to head into the world of Jinn. Following the route along the natural wormhole, they arrived at another space. The boat of Mausoleum was suspended in mid-air, as Luo Feng looked out from his location and saw a miniature universe far in the distance. It was dark blue in color, a clear sign that it was not yet the time to enter. Even without any true treasure, given my current combat power, I can still stand at the apex of universe ocean all the same. Luo Feng was full of confidence, but was unwilling to put all his true treasures at stake. That was why he had sent Shawu Wings and Star Tower back. But he still brought with him Blood, Ghost Blade and the Boat of Mausoleum to charge his way through. Those two would be more than enough. Wait. Wait for the moment to enter this world of Jinn. The Boat of Mausoleum waited silently. Judging by its outer appearance, the dark blue miniature universe seemed to only have a diameter of around 10 million light-years. However, its power was stronger than any other universe Supreme Master's miniature universe by countless times. In its surroundings, numerous palace true treasures were suspended. Great beings from every single group of power from the entire universe ocean would be waiting. Of course, this was being treated as a dangerous land that no other great being had ever dared to explore before, and so, not many groups of powers dared to charge their way in with full force. Most of them had sent a very small number of their great beings to conduct a prior round of exploration. There were more than 200 great beings, including Universe Supreme Masters, all seeking to be among the first to explore the world of Jinn. Over 200 great beings were waiting outside the world of Jinn, ready to enter to begin their exploration. On the other hand, various groups of top powers from Universe Ocean were mostly on their return journeys. For example, the strike force from the Hong Alliance was heading for the primal universe as fast as they could. That was why, at that moment, other than the world of Jinn, which was contained within its body, the other parts of the gigantic, human-shaped life form had regained peace and quiet and were no longer as boisterous with activities like earlier. Only a few great beings had stationed themselves in the void space. Ripples appeared in the space. A lone figure appeared out of nowhere. On his forehead was a pair of crystal horns, and he wore a black robe that radiated black light. It was none other than Sitting Mountain Guest. Sitting Mountain Guest had arrived earlier than any of them, yet no matter who had previously come to explore, or the message that the three ancestral gods had conveyed to the public, not a single one of them noticed Sitting Mountain Guest's presence. Luo Feng, too, did not realize that Teacher Sitting Mountain Guest was around. He had even tried to ask about Sitting Mountain Guest through his transmission token, but there had been no reply from him. Sitting Mountain Guest stood amidst the void space and looked quietly at the gigantic, human-shaped life form ahead of him. Silently, he looked at it. His gaze penetrated through time and space to cover every inch of its body. He scrutinized its hair, eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and even the ancient armor it wore. Thoroughly, he looked at the humanoid life form, as though he was observing an incredibly precious treasure. Finally, Sitting Mountain Guest mumbled to himself. It has arrived. He made his way forward one step at a time. Teleporting ahead, he very quickly landed on its body. After his feet touched down on the vast, rolling mountain range, Sitting Mountain Guest took several steps forward. Every step was a teleportation. He reached the finger of the humanoid figure, then went on to the shoulder and eventually to the waist. There was a ruptured spot due to a wound, a place where something had broken through the armor. Sitting Mountain Guest caressed the ruptured spot on the armor. At 9 million light-years long, it was impossibly huge. Ha! Suddenly, Sitting Mountain Guest let out a burst of hoarse laughter. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Sitting Mountain Guest laughed heartily and loudly. He was laughing so hard that his entire body trembled. He was laughing so crazily that, gradually, the laughter evolved into something bitter, forlorn, and shrill. It contained hysteria steeped in hatred and insanity. The laughing slowly came to a stop. Sitting Mountain Guest sat down slowly, then caressed the armor. Golden, crystalline tears fell soundlessly. "It's here. It has arrived," he said as he caressed the armor with trembling hands. World of Jinn. The primal universe origin is known as the world of Jinn. Sitting Mountain Guest mumbled to himself. Jinn. Jinn. The willpower of the primal universe origin has no emotions. How can it remember Jinn? Sitting Mountain Guest raised his head to look at the vast void space overhead. The chaotic airflow in the void space was revolving, and an overpowering willpower lurked there. "I won't be as foolish as Teacher Origin," said Sitting Mountain Guest. "I will give you a chance." He shook his head, then took a single step forward and vanished within the void space. This video will end here.